Jack Thompson stood alone in his small studio, a sanctuary filled with the remnants of his passion for art. The walls were adorned with half-finished canvases, and the faint scent of turpentine lingered in the air. In front of him loomed a blank canvas, stark and unyielding, mirroring the void he felt inside. It had been years since he had picked up a brush with genuine excitement, and now, as he stared at the empty surface, he felt a familiar pang of nostalgia wash over him, tugging at his heartstrings. Memories of his youthful exuberance flooded his mind, vibrant and alive. He recalled the long afternoons spent painting under the warm glow of the sun, the laughter shared with friends, and the dreams he had spun with Emily Carter, his former fiancée. They had shared a vision of a life filled with art, love, and endless possibilities. But that was before everything changed, before heartbreak shattered their dreams into a million irretrievable pieces. He closed his eyes, trying to shut out the memories, but his mind betrayed him, conjuring the vivid image of their last fight. It was a clash of emotions, a cacophony of words that had left scars deeper than any brushstroke could mend. "Jack, I just don't know if this is what I want anymore," Emily had said, her voice trembling with uncertainty. Her blue eyes, once filled with warmth and affection, now seemed distant and clouded with doubt. "I feel like I'm losing myself in all of this." "We can work through this, Em," Jack had pleaded, desperation coating his words. "We've always found a way. We can make this work. You just need to trust me." But trust had faltered that day, and the weight of their unspoken fears had driven a wedge between them. "I need to find my own path," she had declared, her voice breaking as she turned away from him. The sound of her footsteps echoing in his mind still felt like a physical blow, a reminder of the love that had slipped through his fingers like sand. Jack opened his eyes, blinking against the tide of emotion that threatened to engulf him. He took a deep breath, the air heavy with unfulfilled dreams. The blank canvas remained before him, a symbol of the art he had abandoned, much like the relationship he had lost. He picked up a brush hesitantly, dipping it into a pool of blue paint. As he applied the first stroke, he found some solace in the act, hoping to channel his pain into something tangible. Hours slipped away as he painted, each stroke becoming a cathartic release. The canvas transformed slowly, colors blending in a chaotic dance that mirrored the turmoil within him. But no matter how hard he tried, the image of Emily haunted him, a ghost lurking in the corners of his mind. As twilight descended outside, casting a golden hue across the studio, he finally stepped back to survey his work. The painting was chaotic, a whirlwind of emotions that reflected his inner landscape, yet it felt incomplete. Jack sighed, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. He longed for the clarity he once felt when he painted, the moments when inspiration flowed effortlessly and the world seemed to fade away. That evening, he received an unexpected envelope in the mail, its crisp edges contrasting sharply with the clutter surrounding him. Jack opened it cautiously, his heart racing as he pulled out a glossy invitation. It was for an art exhibition featuring local artists, an event he had heard whispers about but had pushed aside in his mind. The thought of attending sent a jolt of anxiety through him, yet a flicker of curiosity ignited within him. Perhaps this was what he needed, a chance to reconnect with the art world that had once brought him so much joy. Maybe, just maybe, it would help him find closure on the chapter of his life that had been irrevocably altered by the loss of Emily. As he prepared for the exhibition, Jack felt a mix of apprehension and excitement. He dressed carefully, choosing a simple yet elegant outfit that reflected his artistic sensibilities. Standing in front of the mirror, he hardly recognized the man staring back at him. The years had etched lines of disappointment on his face, and his once bright eyes seemed dulled by the weight of unfulfilled dreams. With a deep breath, he stepped out into the night, determined to face whatever awaited him. The exhibition venue was alive with energy, a buzz of conversation and laughter filling the air. As Jack entered, he was enveloped by the vibrant atmosphere. He could smell the faint scent of paint mixed with the aroma of wine, and the walls were adorned with colorful artwork that spoke of passion and creativity. It was intoxicating, a reminder of the world he had distanced himself from. He wandered through the gallery, pausing to admire the various pieces on display. Each artwork told a story, a glimpse into the soul of the artist. Jack felt a pang of longing as he observed the vibrant colors and intricate details, wishing he could summon the same fervor within himself. As he moved deeper into the gallery, he suddenly spotted a piece that struck a chord deep within him. It was a painting of a serene landscape, reminiscent of the places he had explored with Emily during their idyllic days together. The colors swirled together, evoking a sense of nostalgia that made his heart ache. He stepped closer, captivated by the emotion captured on the canvas, and for a moment, he was transported back in time to when art had been his lifeline. "Beautiful, isn't it?" A voice interrupted his reverie. Jack turned to see a woman standing beside him, her eyes sparkling with admiration. The artist really captured the essence of longing. "Yeah, it is," Jack replied, forcing a smile. "It reminds me of, well, a time that feels both distant and close." The woman nodded, her expression understanding. "Art has that power. It can evoke memories we thought we had locked away." Jack opened his mouth to respond, but before he could form the words, his gaze drifted across the room, and his heart nearly stopped. There, amidst the crowd, stood Emily. She was laughing, her head thrown back, in a way that made the air around her seem brighter. But it wasn't just her presence that shocked him. It was the man standing beside her. He bore an uncanny resemblance to Jack himself. His mind raced, confusion and anger swelling within him. Why was she here? And who was this man? The questions swirled in his head as he fought to regain his composure. He felt as though the ground had shifted beneath his feet, and he was teetering on the edge of a precipice. "Are you okay?" the woman beside him asked, concern lacing her voice. "Yeah, just surprised to see someone I know," Jack managed to say, his eyes locked on Emily. The laughter that once seemed like music now felt like a haunting melody, echoing the pain of their past. As he watched them interact, a wave of memories washed over him. Moments of joy and heartbreak intertwined. The sight of Emily smiling at another man felt like a dagger to his heart, reopening old wounds he had desperately tried to heal. The way she leaned into him, the way their eyes sparkled with connection, made it painfully clear that whatever they had shared was now a distant memory, overshadowed by the life she had built without him. Jack's hands clenched into fists at his sides, torn between the urge to approach her and the overwhelming fear of rejection. He hesitated, rooted in place as he grappled with his emotions. Would he find closure in confronting the past, or would it only serve to deepen the chasm that had formed between them? The exhibition continued around him, but Jack felt as though time had stopped. He was caught in a moment that felt both surreal and devastatingly real. As he stood there, the weight of his choices and the remnants of a love long lost pressed heavily on his heart. The night stretched on, and with every passing second, he knew he had to make a choice, to remain a spectator in his own life or to step forward and confront the shadows of his past. The atmosphere in the gallery was electric, a cacophony of chatter mixed with the soft strains of classical music that wafted through the air. Jack Thompson entered the expansive space, his heart pounding in rhythm with the beats of nostalgia that echoed in his chest. The walls were adorned with vibrant canvases, each piece a window into the soul of the artist who created it. Yet amidst the swirling colors, Jack felt like a ghost haunting the remnants of his own past. As he wandered deeper into the exhibition, Jack's eyes fell upon a particular painting that arrested his attention. It was a piece that captured the essence of longing, a swirling tempest of blues and yellows that seemed to pulsate with emotion. It reminded him of Emily, her laughter, her warmth, the way sunlight danced in her hair when they were together. He could almost hear her voice, a sweet melody that played in his mind, bringing with it both happiness and heartache. "Beautiful, isn't it?" a voice interrupted his reverie. Jack turned to see an older woman, her silver hair pinned neatly at the back of her head, her eyes sparkling with appreciation for the art around them. "Yes, it is," Jack replied, his voice barely above a whisper. It brings back memories. Art has a way of doing that," she smiled knowingly. "It captures moments we often forget. Are you an artist yourself?" "Once," he admitted, looking down at the floor, but I've traded my brush for a classroom. Ah, a teacher. The world needs more of those, she said, her smile warm and genuine. Do you still paint? Not much anymore, Jack confessed, the weight of his words heavy in his chest. I lost my way. The woman nodded, understanding etched across her features. Perhaps tonight is a sign to find it again. Jack offered her a weak smile, appreciating her encouragement but feeling the sting of loss. He stepped away from the painting, his heart still tethered to the memories it conjured. But as he moved through the crowd, he felt a strange sense of foreboding, as if something or someone was waiting for him. And that was when he saw her. Across the room, amidst the throng of art enthusiasts, Jack spotted Emily. She was laughing, her head thrown back in joy, with a tall man at her side. His heart skipped a beat, a tumultuous wave of emotions crashing over him. The man bore an uncanny resemblance to Jack himself, tall, with dark hair and a similar build. Jack's breath caught in his throat as he felt a surge of confusion, jealousy, and anger coursing through him. What the hell is happening? He muttered under his breath, his eyes glued to the pair. His pulse quickened as he took a step closer, half tempted to confront her, to demand answers to the questions that had haunted him for the last 2 decades. But the sight of her, radiant and carefree, made him falter. Memories washed over him, their late-night talks, shared dreams, and the heartbreaking day she left. Jack? A familiar voice broke through his thoughts, and he turned to see his co-worker, Claire, standing beside him, her brow furrowed in concern. Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. He forced a smile, but his gaze drifted back to Emily. I think I need a moment, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Sure, take your time. I'll be around if you need me, Claire replied, sensing his turmoil but unable to fully grasp its depth. Jack nodded absently, his feet moving almost of their own accord as he edged closer to where Emily and the man stood. He strained to hear. Their conversation, words tangled in the air like the brushstrokes on the canvases around him. Always knew you had a knack for art, Emily said, her voice lilting and full of warmth. Just like you always said, Em. It's a way to express what's in here, the man replied, placing a hand over his heart, his expression earnest. Jack's heart pounded as he listened. The intimacy between them was undeniable. The way Emily leaned in, her laughter ringing like a bell, twisted the knife of jealousy deeper into Jack's heart. He felt like an intruder in a world he once belonged to, a spectator of a life he could have had. Maybe we should do this more often, Emily suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Art has always brought us together. Absolutely, the man replied, an easy smile spreading across his face. You know, I've always wanted to take that painting class you mentioned. It would be fun to explore our creativity together. Jack's chest tightened at the implication. They shared a bond that felt sacred and profound, and the realization sent a wave of anger coursing through him. He clenched his fists, battling the urge to storm over and confront her. Instead, he took a step back, his heart heavy with unspoken words. As he continued to observe from a distance, he felt the weight of the years pressing down on him. He remembered the last time he had seen Emily, the hurt in her eyes when she walked away, the emptiness that swallowed him whole. Those memories defined him, but now he was confronted with a reality he never expected. She had moved on, and it seemed she had done so with someone who was a mere reflection of himself. Why did you leave? He whispered to himself, the question hanging in the air like a ghost. He wanted to scream it at her, wanted answers to the questions that tormented him. But the thought of approaching her when she seemed so happy with this man felt like stepping into a minefield. Just then the man leaned closer, whispering something in Emily's ear that made her laugh again. Jack watched as a flush crept up her cheeks, and he felt a pang of longing mixed with bitterness. It was as if the universe was mocking him, taunting him with what could have been. Just go talk to her, he muttered under his breath, wrestling with his own hesitations. But the words felt heavy, a weight he couldn't lift. What would he say? How could he even begin to bridge the chasm of time that had separated them? With his heart racing, Jack gathered his courage, taking one tentative step forward. But just as he did, he caught a glimpse of Emily's face, the way her eyes sparkled with happiness, the way she leaned into the man's presence. He faltered, his resolve crumbling under the weight of reality. Maybe it's better this way, he thought, stepping back into the shadows of the gallery. Maybe it's time to let go. As he retreated into the crowd, Jack felt a sense of loss envelop him. A familiar